Hello class. In this video you will be introduced to an overview of the past progressive tense. Throughout the video you will see a paper icon appear at the bottom left corner of your screen. When it appears, pause the video and go to the corresponding exercise on your past progressive practice worksheet. Let's begin. The form of the past progressive is the past form of be and the base form of the verb plus ing. Examples of the past progressive are: the president was talking to the press, and the voters were hoping that their candidate would win. Now pause the video and complete exercise A in your practice worksheet. Next, let's look at possible meanings for the past progressive. In this video, we will discuss 4 possible meanings of the past progressive form. The first is an action in progress at a specific point in the past. Second is an action simultaneous with another event in the past. Third is an interrupted action in the past. And fourth is a repetition of an ongoing past action. An example of an action in progress at a specific point of time in the past is: the president was giving a speech about climate change at a convention last night, and the citizens were voting in November on election day. An example of an action simultaneous with another past event is: the congresswomen and men were listening while the president gave the State of the Union address. An example of an interrupted past action is: the president was speaking when a person in the crowd yelled at him. The past action occurring was the president speaking, until the event in the simple past, a person yelled, interrupted the action. An example of repetition of an ongoing past event is: throughout the entire press conference, the press secretary was avoiding the tough questions. The past progressive verb was avoiding occurred in the specific time frame, the duration of the press conference. Now pause the video and complete exercise B in your practice worksheet. Next, let's look at the context in which past progressive can be used. It can be used in observation reports and narrative essays. You can use past progressive to describe past sequences of events in an observation report. For example, Joe Biden was walking while Bull barked loudly. Now pause the video and complete exercise C in your practice worksheet. The past progressive also describes past events in a narrative essay in a colorful and dramatic way. For example, everything was going well when suddenly the results of the elections were announced. Now pause the video and complete exercise D in your practice worksheet. Finally, we will look at common student errors when using past progressive. These are some common errors we want to avoid. Some students confuse past progressive and simple past. Some students have issues with copula be, and some students confuse when and while when using past progressive. Students oftentimes use past progressive when simple past should be used. For example, in 2016, citizens were voting on November 7th. This is erroneous, and the simple past would be more appropriate because the action occurred and was completed on that specific date. Thus, in 2016, citizens voted on November 7th would be the correct form. Students also have issues with be. Sometimes it is omitted, like the following example. The candidate worrying about losing the election. Sometimes B is contracted. For example, the candidates worrying about losing the election. When this occurs, the reader has no way of telling what form of B was contracted. When describing a sequence of events, students oftentimes confuse while and when. Like in the following example. While the protesters were organizing, the senators were voting against the public. And the senators were voting against the public's interests when the protesters started to organize. Exchanging one word for another drastically changes the meaning of the sentence. Now pause the video and complete exercise E on your practice worksheet. Please review the video until you feel prepared for the quiz on the past progressive tense at our next class meeting. See you next time.